Good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery. Cliff, good evening. How are you? Appreciate you joining us. Dina, pleasure. Thanks for being along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Hello, Rick. How are you? Glad to be with you tonight in my neck of the woods. We're waiting to see if it's going to snow. Most people are saying it's not. Some people are saying we can get 3 to 6 inches. Hey, Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? Dennis, nice to have you along with us. Hello, Jim. How are things in Tennessee? Mike Sherman. John Callison checking in from Novi, where he's getting the booth ready for the Ultimate Fishing Show. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, Ricky. Appreciate that. Hello, James. Appreciate you being along with us as well. Hey, Ed. Yes, for now. Gotcha. Hey, Craig, how you doing? Nice to have you along with us. Hello, Rex. What Ed is talking about is he's a yes for now as far as hunting with us next October with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. Raver Bay, how are you? Jeff, how are things in Gladwin County? Hello, John. Nice to have you along with us. It is indeed hump day. Dan, Johnny Bowler. Johnny's not going to join us this year. Darn it. I put a post on the Facebook page here a little while ago about who is interested, 65 in Tennessee today. If you're interested in hunting with us next fall in October with Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters, now is the time to start thinking about that. Joe, how are you? Hello, Kevin. David, Johnny's brother with us. Hello, Corey. How are things just west of my house here? Hey, Michelle. Nice to have you with us as well. It's the time to start making those plans. And we've got some of our folks who are not going back with us this year. How are things in Florida? The dates are the 16th through the 20th of October. Some of our folks aren't going back with us this year because they've hunted with us for a couple of years. Now they're going out west on mule deer hunts. Johnny's got a new granddaughter that should be born right about then. He's going to be going out there. So we've got some openings. And love to have you join us. Go to OhioBowHuntingOutfitters.com. That's OhioBowHuntingOutfitters.com. Check out the operation. The dates are the 16th through the 20th. Bill wants a 50% deposit this time of year, and you can pay the rest when you get there in October. So just something to put on your radar screen. If you've wanted to hunt whitetails out of state, this would be a good way for you to ease into it at a fairly low-priced hunt in an area that is absolutely full of deer. There's no guarantee you're going to shoot one because it's a wild hunt. Wild. Johnny will be holding a baby. His baby granddaughter. 2 weeks here, no sun in our city. Good evening, Jim. How are you? Nice to have you along with us as well. All right, some things I want to talk about tonight. Yeah, this weather is absolutely crazy, isn't it? I'm glad I'm not an ice fisherman. Well, John, just because you're a college student, doesn't mean you don't have any money and you can't go. The weather's crazy. I'm glad I'm not an ice fisherman. I'm glad I am not I don't want to mention the price, Patrick, here. Because to be honest with you, we got a little bit of a break. We got a little bit of a discount. If you send me a private message, I'll give you all of that information, but I don't want to put it out here for that reason. Corey, that'd be great. Johnny, you're only 49? I thought you were 69 or at least 59. You look good for 60. You look good for 49, Johnny. Good evening, Jeff. How are you? I saw it, Ed, but I didn't get a chance to take a look at it yet. Bill, good evening. How are you? Appreciate you joining us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Yeah, I did see it. The weather, crazy. No snow down here. No ice, pretty much most places. And I'm glad that I am not depending on snow and ice for my outdoor recreation right now. In fact, that's why your distance is off, because you can't see because you're old. I haven't done much of anything this last week between my wife being sick and then me being sick. And we're finally starting to come back around. I will tell you this new bout of COVID, I mean, it's not like it was life-threatening to us, but it it took us both back a ways, and, I had it last year, and it was definitely, worse this year than last. Hello, Gene. How are things out in Angler Quest country? I am. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling good enough that when I get done here tonight, there's getting Maker's Mark in here. Good evening. There you go. Good evening, Dave. How are you? Nick checking in from Berrien County. Where'd Dave go? Nick, where'd Nick go? There's Nick right there from Berrien County. Southwest part of Michigan, steelhead in the rivers, Jim. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, indeed. Steelhead are in the rivers. Walleye are in the rivers. Walleye are in Saginaw Bay. Walleye are in Lake Erie right now. Well, I appreciate you saying that, John. Honestly, I could barely make it through the show last week. There was one point in the middle of the second hour where I started to sweat and I actually thought I was going to pass out. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it, but I did. Oh, besides the weather, what's going on? Oh, this consent decree. Good evening, Jerry. Yeah, it's a sad season. It's too early to get into this kind of a discussion. I'll hold this for a few minutes yet. But a couple of things the 23s, cool. They're drawing my name for the Pure Michigan Hunt sometime in the next 2 weeks. I don't know exactly when it is. But yes, they're drawing it. Thank you, Don, for saying that. Really, Johnny? Yeah, it was I mean, like I said, it wasn't life-threatening, but it was very, very uncomfortable, and it just seems to hang on. That's the difference between this time and last year. Last year I had it and I was sick for 2 days and I was done with it. This time it's a good week. But I'm better now. I'm not contagious. Hey Tim, how you doing, buddy? Nice to have you with us. Dave said everybody in his family has been sick the last few weeks. Tim, are you and Jen going to try to make it for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction this year? Where's the cold? I didn't have a cold. I had COVID. I did. And I'll say the same thing next year, Ed. I'll say the same thing next year. Yeah, Pure Michigan Hunt would be sweet. Okay. It's going to just, Cliff, I'm getting the new truck wrapped tomorrow at Sign Image in Saginaw, and it'll look exactly like the old one. Same pattern, same wrap. Oh, good, Tim. I'm glad to hear that. Good evening, Bernie. Nice to have you along with us. Our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner is going to be Saturday, March 4th at the Great Hall in Midland. Chef Dixie Dave Miner is cooking. We had a big meeting last night to get things exactly, Jeff. Exactly. Yeah, the fatigue is and everybody gets it different. Still doesn't mean I think we should shut down the state or everybody wear a mask everywhere. I'm not. No. We've got some good prizes already coming in for our Trinity dinner. I'm giving away a fishing trip on Saginaw Bay. We might give away a river cruise as well. Captain Jeff Godey of the Michigan Experience is giving away a walleye fishing trip on Saginaw Bay. Captain Mark Panonzek of Real Fishing is giving away a walleye fishing trip on the Detroit River. Scott Keachman of Linwood Taxidermy is giving away a shoulder mount. The folks at Michigan Brand are giving away Michigan Brand meats for a year. Versus Skins is going to be there. They're going to throw some stuff in. Johnny Bowler is giving away a bear hunt. Now, here's the way it works with Johnny. He's going to give away a bear hunt if you have a tag for the Newberry District. If you don't have a tag for the Newberry District, it'll be a whitetail hunt. Or, Johnny, can they wait till they get a bear tag? I guess that's in your court, buddy. Tickets have gone up. The tickets are $75 each. Oh, there's going to be a ton of guns. $75 each, but it's worth it. 8 people at a table, and I'm buying like 3 tables. Money's going for a good cause. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guns. Lots of guns. They can wait if they want. Thank you, Johnny. More guns than we had last year, Tim. Well, you weren't there last year. Ain't that the truth with everything, Fred? A ton of guns. Hey, Ruben, good afternoon. How are things in Colorado? Besides high elevation, cold, and snowy. Go directly to spring. Do not pass go. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to play some golf. I'm ready to do some fishing. I'm ready to do some turkey hunting. It's for the kids, just not my kids. This is for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game dinner at the Great Hall Saturday, March 4th. Not this year, she won't, Johnny. Not if we're buying 3 tables of tickets. She's not. Everybody loves winning guns. Tickets are going on sale. Here we go. Tickets are going on sale Monday, January 30th. However, you, as Outdoor Magazine viewers and listeners, may be able to get a jump on it. Ticket sales to the public go on sale Monday, January 30th, but there might be a way for you, my friends, to get in a little early. Johnny says he'll be there. Hey, good evening, Brian. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. Wednesday Night Live is something I do every Wednesday night while I am live here. Tonight in my studio at the house, my office at the house. The next time we do a Wednesday Night Live in person will be Wednesday, March 22nd at the Lumberjack Restaurant in Birch Run. Johnny will be there. I know you will, Johnny. I already got your tickets, buddy. Evening, Lori. How are you? Is there an age limit, Davina? No, but I tell you what, it's really, I think I know what you're asking. Everybody is welcome, but it's really an adult event. Steve will be there. Of course you will, Steve. Steve, one of our elders at Trinity. Ed says Heidi and he will be there. Hey, Mike, good evening. Hey, Mike, will you be back from Arizona by then? Saturday, March 3rd. Any discounts if you buy a whole table? Nope. I wish there was. There's nothing in Birch Run. The Forward Corporation restaurant in West Branch. Birch Run Restaurant, Dixie Dave's, is closed. That's right. West Branch, Emil Rousseau of the Forward Corporation. I think, Emil, what are you, general manager of Lumberjack or general manager of the whole complex there? Emil's like the real deal. He's the big cheese. He's the head honcho. Hi, Dave. Good evening. Hello, Sal. How are things over on YouTube? Yeah, if I said Birch Run, I said Birch Run. Best fishing show of the year. Know by this weekend. Check out Lure Lipstick. I would if I was going to be down there, Jacob. I'm not going to be down there because it turns out, well, number one, my truck is going to be in the shop tomorrow and Friday because it's getting the wrap. Saturday, my granddaughter Addison is playing ball down in Southeast Michigan. And then Saturday evening, there's a fundraiser for our friends, the Pinter family, Tracy and Brent Pinter. That fundraiser, the doors open at 4. Dinner is from 6 till 8. We're going to have a charity auction. I'm auctioning off a walleye fishing trip on Saginaw Bay aboard the Angler Quest. It's one of about 4 events where I'm auctioning off those trips this year. It's on Beaver Road in Bay County at the VFW Hall in Caucaulin Township. Gerald, I see you were one of the guys interested in that hunt, huh? That Ohio hunt. I bet there are a few Angler Quest pontoons down there. Johnny's heading over to Andy's. Tell everybody I said hi, Johnny. Johnny, you're good for it, buddy. Don't worry about it. And you wouldn't be sending it to me anyway. You would send it to the folks at Trinity, Johnny. Or maybe Steve Ribbit will just buy your tickets. Is it Parrish? No, it's Beaver. No, it's not the one on Parrish, John. It's the one on Beaver. Beaver Road, VFW Post. Maybe it's not Caucaulin Township, but it's the one on Beaver Road. Oh, you are, Emil. Emil's cooking for that event Saturday. Wonderful. Wonderful, Emil. I'll look forward to seeing you. Sal's rolling through St. Clair this evening. How are things in the southeast part of the state? Were you one of them, Gene? Were you down there cleaning up the Angler Quest boats for the show? Good evening, Tony. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Between 7 and 8 Mile, Rick says. Between 7 and 8 Mile. Beaver near 8 Mile, Johnny says. All right, Beaver near 8 Mile. Yep, I go along with that. Thanks to Ross, you think, eh? Oh, sorry. That was gross. I still got a little bit of a drainage going on, but I feel a lot better than I did last week. A lot better. Good enough that, like I said, this is going to get a little maker's mark in it very soon. Well, like a half hour. Hello, Joe. John. All right, let me get to a couple of more serious topics here tonight. One is the continuing saga or debacle of the consent decree. The place with the tank out front. Exactly, Tim. The consent decree is a so-called agreement between the tribal commercial fishermen or the tribal fishermen and the state of Michigan. I found out that the DNR actually wasn't involved. And I will admit that I was wrong here. I had been giving the DNR grief because I felt they weren't supporting the best interest of sport fishermen, of recreational anglers. And I had been saying how disappointed I was that the DNR had let us down in this whole thing. I found out this morning through one of our radio guests that I'll talk about in a minute. DNR really didn't even have a seat at the table. It was the tribes and it was the Attorney General's office. Everybody else was just on the outside looking in. So I guess my real beef is with the Attorney General's office. Why is that not surprising? So the consent decree was last done in 2000. Now it was supposed to be done in 2020. It's 2023. They're still dragging out. They haven't been transparent. There's been no transparency whatsoever. And that's another one of the problems. It's all been done in secret. No, John, I wish I was. It's all been done in secret. So the gist of this is, number one, the Sioux tribe hasn't even signed on to it or signed off on it yet because the Sioux tribe wants to be self-regulating. They don't want to be held accountable to anybody other than themselves. Well, guess what? I don't want to be held accountable to anybody other than myself too. I don't want to have the number of rods I control with limited. I don't want to have the size of the fish I can catch limited. I don't want to have the methods of fishing limited. I want to regulate myself too. It's not going to happen. So why should it happen for the Sioux tribe? I'm not saying it's going to, but that's what the Sioux tribe wants. And nobody, be very clear here, nobody is saying that the tribes don't have a right to fish, because of course they have a right to fish. But think about this. There are roughly 90 tribal commercial fishermen. Or maybe it's 90 licenses. No, I think there's 90 tribal commercial fishermen. How many recreational anglers are there? So why would the best interest of 90 tribal fishermen be put ahead of hundreds of thousands, if not millions? Hey, John, how are things at the Ultimate Fishing Show in Detroit? John Sullivan, the guy behind Lure Lipstick, lurelipstick.com. So why would the needs or why would the best interest of 90 tribal commercial fishermen be put ahead of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Michigan sport anglers? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Good to hear, John. Good to hear. Doesn't make any sense at all. But it has been. On the show this week, my leadoff guest is a guy named Jim Johnson. Jim is a retired DNR fisheries biologist. He worked out of the Alpena station. He was intimately involved in the Lake Huron fishery, especially lake trout, for, what did he say, like 30 years, 40 years? The guy knows what he's talking about. And we talked about this consent decree. He said it's terrible. He said, and this part is known, that what this will lead to is more gill nets being used by the tribal fishermen in areas where they have not been allowed before, including what used to be called a northern Lake Huron lake trout, what's the word? Sanctuary. Well, it's not going to be a sanctuary anymore if it's opened up to gill net fishing by the tribes. John Sullivan says within a couple of years, if this goes through as it is right now, that the lake trout fishery in the state will likely be decimated. He also went on to say, this is a matter that is bigger than just sport fishing. He said, every taxpayer in the state of Michigan should be up in arms over this. because of all the money that has been spent on the lake trout fishery over the years, on lamprey control over the years. Jim did the the math. Jim said it's something like 300. If you do the math and just kind of take it out to the logical conclusion, if there are 90 commercial fishermen, something like $300,000 for each one of those 90 commercial fishermen over the years. Actually, I think it's more than that now that I say it. But what a mess. What an absolute mess. And again, I apologize because I was putting this on the shoulders of the DNR, and it's not the DNR. It's the Attorney General's office. And I don't blame the tribes. I don't blame the tribes for getting everything they possibly can. If I was in their shoes, I'd do the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Don't blame them at all. But why is it always us? The hunters, the anglers, the working people, the law-abiding people, the people who pay their taxes, the people who just go about life trying to take care of their family. Why is it always that group that ends up getting the short deal? Why? And yet we keep electing these people to do this to us. Maybe it's our own fault. MUCC did end up as an amica. I should have my daughter, the lawyer, here. They were able to observe Well, I don't know if I got to the bottom of it, John. I don't know if I got to the bottom of it. Because we're not a special interest group. All right, now talking about why pay for a fishing license. When I talked with the people at the CPMR, the Coalition to Protect Michigan Resources, and that is a coalition of MUCC and some sportsmen's groups that formed to fight this whole thing. I said, what can we do now as anglers? They said, number one, buy your fishing license and continue to fish because there is strength in numbers. So buy your fishing license, continue to fish, join a local fishing group that is involved in this fight and supports this fight. And number three, help support the cause financially to CPMR, Coalition to Protect Michigan Resources. They have spent a lot of money fighting this in court, as you can imagine, and they could use some more help. Coalition to Protect Michigan's Resources, CPMR. Let me do a quick search here. It's protectmichiganresources.com. The website is protectmichiganresources.com. 8, Steve, 8. 8 seats per table at the Wild Game Dinner. I don't know if Michigan Steelheaders are still a group. Michigan Steelheaders. Yeah, they're still. I think so. So anyway, what a shame. What an absolute shame it is that this consent decree. Well, I thought it was, John, and I actually feel bad because I was absolutely ragging at the DNR about how disappointed I was. And it was Jim Johnson, my first guest on the show, who is a retired DNR fisheries biologist, who is not happy with this at all. But he said, you can't blame the DNR. This is not the DNR's doing. This is the Attorney General's doing. Okay, and then my second guest this week is Dave Thomas of Bowhunter Planet, bowhunterplanet.com. He's at the ATA show right now, the Archery Trade Association show. I didn't go down for it. I used to go all the time. I used to think it was a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal anymore because I can sit right here in my office and learn everything that's going on. The only thing I can't do is do face-to-face and handshake and stuff like that, which is valuable, Dave's also talking about their Time Is Now campaign, saying the time is now to get involved in the outdoors. And they couldn't tie in more closely with my previous topic. The time is now to get involved in the outdoors. The time is now to pick up a bow. The time is now to to go out hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping. If we don't do it now, these whack jobs are going to come in and take it over. And by whack jobs, I'm not talking about the tribes. I'm talking about my next subject. While I was on the air this morning, I was looking at some of my posts between segments as we were doing a commercial spot. Hey, Bill Piles. Bill, I was talking about this just a minute ago, that we are losing some of our hunters who have been down with us for the last couple of years because they're going on Western hunts this year. And so we're going to have some openings. We might have 4 or 5 openings even this year. So I was telling them that I didn't want to mention the price on air. I told them to send me a private message and I would talk about the price, the details. The dates are October 16th through the 20th. Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters. Go to the website, ohiobowhuntingoutfitters.com. It's Knox, Licking, Coshocton counties. Some of the best hunting in Ohio with one of the best hunting guides, in my opinion. And we're getting some interest, Bill. So I'm on the air and I look at a Facebook feed, and it was in a response to the picture I posted with a bunch of my great uncles and my uncles saying, I come from a long line of hunters. And he said, well, then you must come from a long line of people with low IQs as well. And I'm like, doggone it. Why is this? We don't go to people's social media outlets that don't hunt or fish or shoot or trap. We don't go to their Facebook page. We don't go to their Instagram feed. We don't go to their YouTube channel and make disparaging, mean, threatening comments. This guy didn't threaten, but I've had probably 100 people who say, I'm going to kill you for what you do to those animals. Really? I'm not worried about it. I mean, just know that if you ever come after me, I take care of myself. Okay. So I'm not worried about it. I protect myself, but I just think it's really rotten and despicable that these people who don't agree with us feel like they can somehow attack us and attack our way of life. We don't do that to them. Our philosophy is, let us do what we want. You can do what you want. And so what is it, Bill? You can do what you want, but just leave us alone. But they won't. They just keep nagging and nah. I bet, Bill. I bet. Well, no, yes, I hear what you're saying, Emil, but the anti-hunting, anti-fur, anti-fishing, anti-trapping movement goes beyond keyboard warriors. It is a philosophy and a mindset that is also extremely politically active. They have more money than God, and they're not afraid to spend it against us. So it's more than just keyboard warriors. Exactly, Ricky. And in hour number 2, continuing on the hit parade, I actually think it's a pretty good show this week. In hour number 2, I'm talking with Cody Norton, who is the Michigan DNR wildlife biologist responsible for top tier predators being bear, cougars, and wolves. And if we keep infighting, it's all going to be gone. Absolutely, brother Bill Piles. So I had a good conversation with Cody. Number 1 about bears. Hey, Cap, how you doing? I did get your email, Jim. I will respond. Yeah, I can help out there. Yeah, the bear population in Michigan is going up, but the harvest is also going up. So don't be surprised if sometime soon you see a further cut in the number of Michigan bear tags. That's my take on it. That's not what he says, but that's what I took out of that part of the conversation. Number 2, mountain lions, cougars, pumas, big cats. He said there are only 2 confirmed in the UP. He said, yeah, there's an awful lot of sightings, but he believes it's just 2 cats. Number 3, we talked about wolves, and then we talked about coy wolves, and I'm going to come back to that. We talked about wolves. Cody admitted that it is probably time. Do I need to do this up a little bit? Probably time to reconsider the way wolves are counted. He said, now hear me out before you jump all over this. He said, and I like Cody. Cody's a good guy. He's a straight shooter. I like him a lot. I don't consider him to be a political hack or like that, anything at all. I think he's a good, sound biologist who really has the best interest of the resource at heart and the hunters. Cody says for so many years they've used this method of counting wolves that was designed to prove that the wolf population had been reestablished to lay the groundwork for a possible future hunting season in Michigan. They want to get them delisted. He said, now that they've established that the population has been reestablished, he said it might well be time to start using a different, not a different method of counting, but a different method of designating how many wolves. He said, before we were just concentrating on the bare minimum. Everybody knows there are more wolves in the UP than the bare minimum. So you might see in the next couple of years, the DNR revise their numbers, not because they're saying there are more wolves, but they're using a different way of designating the size of the wolf population. Also, Ray Rebay, how are you? Randy, how are you? Cameron, how are you? Kevin, I'm sorry. Matt, how you doing, buddy? Also, coy wolves. Remember I talked about this in the past? I said, don't fall for it. There ain't no such thing as coy wolves. The top wolf biologist in Michigan says there ain't no such thing as coy wolves. PBS and Nature did this thing a few years ago about the coy wolf. He said they were talking about the eastern coyote. It's not a wolf. Wolves and coyotes do not breed. The reason we don't want to go down this road, again, I'll tell you, is because if we start perpetuating this myth that there are coy wolves and that the coy wolves were created by wolves and coyotes interbreeding, for one thing, how in the world in mid-Michigan where I live, say Clare County or Midland County, how in the world are you going to have a coyote mate with a wolf? Because there aren't any wolves here. I don't care what you say. There's no wolves in this part of the state. I've seen them. No, you haven't. You've seen big coyotes. I've had people no, they're big coyotes. They're not coy wolves. So if we buy into the concept that wolves and coyotes, exactly, John. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. If we buy into the concept that wolves and coyotes are breeding to create this species called a coy wolf, it'll be the end of predator hunting as we know it, because our friends, the antis, will jump all over that and say, well, we can't hunt wolves. And they say it just like this: we can't hunt wolves. And if wolves have, they don't say it like that. If coyotes have wolf DNA, then we shouldn't be hunting coyotes either. And if they take that to the courts, they'll win that damn argument. I'm telling you right now, they'll win it. Don't talk about coy wolves. Don't buy into the concept. You're not seeing coy wolves. You might be seeing a big coyote, but you ain't seeing a coy wolf. They don't exist. So don't talk about them. They're not there. They don't exist. Move on. Nice, man. Oh, you got a 350 Legend. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then Nick Green of MUCC joins me. In our third hour, Mike Thorman of the Michigan Hunting Dog Association. Hey, Ace, how you doing, buddy? Mike Thorman of the Michigan Hunting Dog Association joins me to talk about houndsmen, bear dogs, coyote dogs. We also talk about his perception of wolves in the UP. He won't take his hounds up to run coyotes or bears up there anymore because he doesn't want to lose them to wolves. I've talked to a couple of people who have lost probably 3 or 4 who have lost dogs to wolves. Exactly, Tim. Once somebody sees a 120-pound wolf, they'll never think a 50-pound coyote as a wolf. 120-pound wolf is an awful big wolf. I shot one several years ago up in White River that at the time was one of the biggest they'd ever shot, and it was 98 pounds. So 120 pounds. You might see some in Alberta, maybe some in Alaska, but that's a big, big wolf. That's a good question right there, George. One I haven't really, I need to follow up on that. Yeah. Different thing, different topic, Dennis. Wild dogs and coyotes is a whole different scenario than coyotes and wolves. Hey, Rob, how big are your wolves? That one I shot several years ago now was 98 pounds with Pete, and it was a big animal. Big animal. I think I don't know. I don't think you're going to see a 120-pound wolf up there, are you? I don't think so. Anyway, but Tim, your point is very valid. Once you see a wolf, um, I'm not going to do it right now live, but here's what I'm going to do. I've got a full body wolf mount right there, and I got a full body coyote mount right there. Tomorrow, I'm going to put the coyote, and granted, it's a big wolf, Raber Bay, 80 pounds. I got bit by a 160-pound Great Pyrenees. Anyway, I got a full size wolf right there, a big wolf, and I got a small coyote right there. I'm going to put the coyote in front of the wolf and take a picture and say, "What do you think now of coy wolves?" Raider, a 120-pound wolf, his hug, his what's he huge. I I think you'd be hard pressed, John, to find a 120-pound wolf. Again, maybe in Alaska, maybe in Alberta, but I don't know. Kevin Rott, who has killed more coyotes than anybody here on this page. I guarantee you said the average coyotes, biggest coyotes, 50 pounds. Rob Sador, who lives in White River, Ontario, Canada, right there says average probably 60 to 70 pounds. He says there probably are wolves that big. He said, but the average is 60 to 70 pounds. They're not as big as you think they are. They're big. I don't want them in my backyard. What else is on my list? I talked about the weather, Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit. I am not going to make it because of a couple of things that are going on, but I would encourage you to be there. What? See, okay, let me get rid of that idiot right there. Delete comment and block user. See ya. Kevin has called in a wolf and a coyote in the same set. Easy to tell the wolf. I do find it interesting, though, that you had wolves and coyotes in the same territory. Linda, once you've seen a wolf, there's no way you can confuse it with a coyote. A wolf's eyes are eerie. A coyote's are just brown. Hi, Mike. It's been a while. It has been a while. Linda, how are you? How are things in the Traverse City area? Are you still in the Traverse City area? Yeah. No, Mike. They're going to be available Monday, January 30th. Monday, January 30th. Some of the prizes right now that I've got that we have lined up: the Detroit River Walleye Fishing Trip, a shoulder mount, Versa Skins, a year of Michigan brand meats, a UP bear hunt, Linwood Beach launch pass for the marina, a dart and crossbow, walleye fishing trip with me on Saginaw Bay. Oh, cool. Good for you, Bill. Good for you. Yeah, I've been to the SHOT Show. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. It's not something I care to go to again. I've been to a couple of them. They're it's big. It's a lot of people. Brick house, to get a brick house. Did you have a chance to get a brick house? What is a brick house? How do you like it? A brick house, is that a blind? Is that a blind? Who makes the brick house? Didn't Ameristep used to make a brick house? Exactly. A cigar. SHOT Show was fun once. Exactly. A brick house is a cigar. Oh, I didn't know. I forgot about our conversation, Derek. I forgot about it. Yes. Thank you. No, I didn't get a chance. Listen, I was so sick this week. I wasn't smoking many cigars. They just didn't even sound good. I had one today, though. Good evening, Scott. How are you? Third time, Kevin. Kevin's third time's a charm, Kevin. Dave says you have Chris Durson from Rapid River Knives coming on the show in the near future. I would like to. I put a text out to Chris yesterday. He did not respond. I do want to get him on the show here sometime in the next few weeks. Nah, they don't, do they? Can't enjoy it. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. We're feeling better. So, listen, it's a busy time of year coming up for me. Let me talk about some events coming up, including the fundraiser for Brent and Tracy Pinder this Saturday. Exactly. Exactly. Restocking the store right now. This Saturday, January 14th, at the VFW Hall in Bay County on Beaver Road. Doors open at 4, dinner 5 to 6, and then a charity auction afterward. One of the prizes auctioning off will be a walleye fishing trip with me on Saginaw Bay. We got a dart and crossbow. We're raising money for a great family. You don't need a ticket to get in. I would encourage you, if you're in the area, to stop by there. That's this Saturday. Then Friday, January 20th, I'll be at the Riverwalk Church in Bay City. That's a men's only event. Got some grief over that, but you know what? In today's world, it's okay if guys just want to get together. I mean, it's all right. It's not a sexist thing. You know, if a bunch of guys going to get together for fellowship, it's okay. Saturday, January 28th, I'll be at Calvary Baptist in Midland. I'll be speaking at that event. Tuesday, February 21st, I'll be at the Saginaw Field and Stream Club doing a fundraiser for the Fordney Club. This is for their youth athletics. Friday, March 3rd, I'll be at the First Baptist Church in Clare. Saturday, March 4th, our big Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner. And then Wednesday, March 22nd, our Wednesday Night Live Lumberjack in West Branch. I have not talked to Dennis. Aspen Thicket Grouse Dogs in the Yoop. I have not. Hey, Jim. Jim, didn't John Littlefield teach your class? I did an Angler Quest podcast today with John Littlefield, Captain John Littlefield. So you can listen for that. I'll have that uploaded probably tomorrow. What's the rule change on the walleye fishing in the Saginaw River season open year round is true? It is. Saginaw River up to the city of Saginaw. I think it's the Center Street Bridge. He did. Well, you can listen to him on the podcast. Exactly, Tim. They do. So, yeah. And the reason it's open now, the lower Saginaw River used to be closed under the guise of a walleye spawning closure to protect the spawning fish. The biologists the biologists are convinced that the resource is so strong right now. In fact, there's so many fish in that system, they want to thin them out. They want to knock the numbers down to help not only the walleye fishing, but maybe even the perch fishing. That's why we went to an 8-fish limit on Saginaw Bay and a 13-inch size limit, because biologists want sport anglers to take some more fish. Along that line now, the Saginaw River, the lower Saginaw River, well, actually all the way up to Saginaw, will be open year-round. What I'm going to be curious to see, number one, is how hard that's going to get fished. We know how hard the Detroit River gets fished in March and early April. Will the Saginaw River get fished that hard as well? And if it does, what will the impact be on the fishery? He had a couple of his dogs attacked by wolves a couple of years ago. Hello, Jim. How are you? Yeah, I talked to a couple of different hunters, including the Farmer brothers, Jordan and Justin Farmer. They had a dog killed up there last year. I was looking at some old rundowns. He was on one of them. I don't remember which brother was on just last year. Where did the time fly tonight? And we didn't even do a giveaway. I said last week we were going to do a giveaway with a company called Whack'em and Plack'em. We changed the focus of that a little bit, and you'll actually hear them advertising on the radio show. So we're not going to be doing a giveaway. If you're here for the giveaway, I apologize. Next week, we're giving away an Angler Quest boat. Tune in for that. An 8526 Pro Troll with a 300-horse Merc. Well, exactly. Lost Glove says if the tribes get the gill net the bay, that'll knock down the numbers. And here's some more inside information. The person, now I said this is primarily an attorney general negotiation, but the DNR has been present. The guy who is representing the DNR in this situation Sounds like he would like to get all of the tribes in the state involved and open up all waters, which would mean southern Lake Michigan, and it would also mean opening up Saginaw Bay for gill nets. What do you think of that? It is. All right, my friends. It's 7:45, which means it's time to wrap this thing up. We can't wrap it up without this. Appreciate you joining me tonight, my friends. State, Craig, state. No, not in the least. All right, John, have a good show down there. Night-night. Yeah, I'm going to go upstairs, put a little maker's mark in this, and call it a night. My name's Mike Avery. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. Have a good night, my friends, and we'll talk to you next time right here on Wednesday Night Live.